Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to talk about the novel The Mill on the Floss. So let's begin. The Mill on a Floss is a novel written by George Eliot. Originally it was published in 1860. Set in rural England in the early 19th century, it tells the story of the coming of age of the protagonist, Maggie Tulliver, and her struggle to reconcile her desire for intellectual and emotional fulfillment with the expectations of her family and society. So, I'll be talking briefly about this novel. So, please just focus and do not skip. So, the novel is divided into 7 books. Each one is focusing on a different period in Maggie's life, our protagonist. So, the first book introduces the Tulliver family, who live on a mill on the river Floss in the fictional town of St. Ogg's. Let's talk about the family. So Mr. Tulliver is a proud and stubborn man who is determined to provide his family with a good life, but he is also burdened with debt. And he also has a bitter rivalry with his brother-in-law, Mr. Pivot. So Mrs. Tulliver, if I talk about the women, she is a woman who is more concerned with social status and appearances than her husband's struggle. And our protagonist Maggie is the youngest child and is depicted as intelligent, passionate, but she's also headstrong and very impulsive. And her older brother Tom, he's more reserved, I would say, and practical. So in the second book, Maggie starts attending school with her cousin Lucy Dean, and she becomes close friends with Lucy, who is kind and gentle, but Lucy is also envious of Maggie's intelligence and creativity. So Maggie also meets Philip Wakeham. He's the son of Mr. Tulliver's former business partner. So Philip is hunchback, sensitive, and he quickly becomes infatuated with Maggie when they meet each other. So Maggie is initially drawn to Philip's intellect and sensitivity, but their friendship is cut short when Tom her brother learns of it and forbids Maggie from seeing him. He asks her not to see him again. So this is all in the second book. And if we talk about the third book, Mr. Tulliver loses a lawsuit against Mr. Pivot, and he is forced to sell the mill to pay his debts. So the family is forced to move to a smaller, less desirable home, and Maggie is sent to live with her aunt and uncle in another town, not in there. So Maggie becomes increasingly unhappy, restless, and she eventually returns home because she is not happy over there. So meanwhile, Tom has become increasingly cold and distant towards Maggie because they were not living together, and she becomes disillusioned with him. So this was all in the third book. And in the fourth book, Maggie meets Stephen Guest. He is a wealthy and charming young man who is engaged to Lucy Dean, her cousin. So Maggie is attracted to Stephen's charisma and passion, and they begin an intense emotional affair together. So, however, when Stephen proposes to Maggie, she rejects him, knowing that their relationship would be seen as scandalous and that it would cause pain to Lucy and Tom because Lucy is in relationship with Stephen. And in the fifth book, Maggie's relationship with Tom deteriorates further and furthermore. So she becomes increasingly isolated, unhappy, and she eventually decides to leave home and go to live with her cousin Lucy in another town. However, she is caught in a flood on the river Floss and is rescued by Tom. And in the aftermath of the flood, Maggie and Tom reconcile, and Maggie realizes that her love for Tom is stronger than her desire for intellectual and emotional fulfillment. She realizes that eventually. And in the sixth book, Maggie and Tom's relationship with each other becomes strained again when they discover that the person Philip Wakeham is now the owner of the mill. So that used to belong to their family. So now Tom is determined to get the mill back, but Maggie argues that Philip is a fair and honest businessman who has done nothing wrong with them. So she asks him not to do anything, and Maggie's loyalty to Philip causes a rift between her and Tom in between them. And Maggie becomes increasingly alienated from her family and society. And in the final book, Maggie and Tom's relationship reaches a breaking point when Tom learns that Maggie has been secretly meeting with Philip. So he gets disheartened and so Tom disowns Maggie and she leaves to start a new life with Philip. However, their happiness is very short-lived when their boat, the boat that they were traveling in, capsizes on the river Floss and they drown together. So in the end, they both drown, and throughout the novel, the characters undergo significant development and transformation. As I told you earlier, Maggie in particular experiences a tumultuous journey towards self-discovery and acceptance, and she struggles to balance her desire for intellectual and emotional fulfillment with the expectations of a family and society, and her journey ultimately leads her to tragic consequences. So the novel also explores themes such as social class, gender roles, and the struggle between individual desire and societal expectations, as we all struggle. So George Eliot's writing is nuanced and very insightful, and she portrays her characters with depth and complexity. When you read the novel, you will know, and I hope you eventually read this. So her depiction of Maggie Tulliver is particularly compelling, as she is a complex and flawed character who defies the traditional expectations of her gender. So The Mill on the Floss is a poignant and I would say very powerful novel that continues to resonate with readers today also. So it is a testament to George Eliot's skill as a writer and her ability to capture the complexities of human nature. So in the conclusion, I would like to add that the novel serves as a reminder that the pursuit of individual fulfillment can come at a great cost, but that it is ultimately up to each individual to determine their own path in life. So ये सबके साथ ही होता है, and if you like the video, please like, share and subscribe to my channel. So ये बहुत helpful होगा, and मैं और ऐसी वीडियोस बना सकूँ आपके सपोर्ट के साथ. So please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you.